Welcome to the Fantasy Football Podcast Extraordinaire. Your hosts here, Jim and Kyle. And we have a new third host being added this year, Heebs.
What up?
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be part of the team.
Yeah, it's good to be back, everybody. I just want to start the show off with, we've completed 10 years of this league, so I just want to say thanks to everyone who's in it. A lot of you have been here since the beginning. Appreciate it so much. Hope you're all still having fun, and everyone who's joined over the years. It's been an awesome league. I have so much fun in this one. So just wanted to say thanks to everybody for being in this and having fun with us. Also, thanks for everyone who listens. We're going to do this a little bit differently this year. So we're going to have kind of 2 podcasts a week, but they're both going to be shorter. So we'll have a more fantasy football focused one, and then we'll have a more NFL focused one that come out on 2 different days of the week. They'll both be on the same channel, so you can listen as you like. But I'm just letting everyone know that if you want for one or the other or both, whatever you might want to do. Any other news or anything from anybody here?
I just wanted to say a quick thank you. I'm so happy to be back in the league. And as excited I was, I don't think I'm going to kick in anybody's ass this year, but I'm very happy to be back. So thank you.
Well, I say for I think the whole league, welcome back. We're happy to have you back. It's always a little disappointing when you left, so let's keep it going for a lot longer this time.
No, I remember when Kyle messaged me to invite me back into the league. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah, it's good to have you back. So with that, we'll jump into it. So this podcast, we're gonna go over our power ranking. So it's gonna be a consensus power ranking. So we all did our own versions, and we're gonna go through what we came up with from bottom to top. Before we do that, being this is like a pretty much Packers fan base for the most part in this league, we're gonna start off with some big news for the Packers. Everyone knows already, but we're going to talk about Mike Parsons to the Packers and how that affects not only the Packers, but I guess the Lions and the Vikings as well, since they're going to be going up against this guy twice a season. So, yeah, Packers defense. According to a lot of metrics last year, they were top 5 defense last year, and they just added Micah Parsons to the roster. I believe they could be the best defense in the NFL this year. I think they do have the best pass rushing duo, at least in the NFC, probably in the NFL this year. I'm extremely excited. This is the craziest offseason news I think I've had in my lifetime as far as Packers goes. What do you think, Jim? Your team's gonna be rolling up against this guy in what, 7 days?
7 days.
7 days, yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely a lot happier to have him when he just gets traded to the team and has only like a week to prepare for us. That definitely is a big plus. I like it from that perspective. I mean, obviously you're talking about how big of a deal this is. I mean, this is probably the biggest offseason move they made since either Charles Woodson or Reggie White, I would say. I would say even more Reggie White, because Charles Woodson was kind of near the end of his career. This is getting a guy in his prime who has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year award every year. It's definitely something that the Packers needed. They needed a more consistent pass rusher to go with Gary. So you have a guy who can just take over a game. Gary can do that too, but this guy can do it twice as much a year. So yeah, it's gonna be a big deal. It's gonna be a pretty scary thing to see, especially once they get 4 games or so under their belt and everything starts to click for them. But yeah, big deal, big trade. I think it's a win for the Packers in the sense that you got one of the best players in the league for, I think, a pretty fairly good offer.
I am actually genuinely shocked that that's all they got for Parsons. I mean, I guess in a way I'm not, now that I say that, I'm not shocked because Jerry Jones is an idiot. But let's be honest, that pick is probably going to be late 20s, early 30s at best.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't really think they're going to get any value there from those 2 picks. Kenny Clark, I know Dallas did want to improve on the defensive line, so that will definitely help them there. But Only on an interior because obviously they just lost, I think, probably the best edge rusher in the NFL right now. So, yeah, you take what, like Kyle said, what the metrics had with a top 5 defense, and they didn't really lose anybody, and then they added the best pass rusher. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with. And I think this is the best defense they've had since '96. So I think they're going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I heard the news, I mean, I heard it first through our group chat, our group fantasy football chat. Jim texted it. I didn't even know that he got traded to the Packers based on what he said. I just knew that he got traded somewhere. So he said $47 million and 2 firsts. I was like, oh, where the fuck did Micah go? I look it up and like, no fucking way he's a Packer. Yeah, like I said, this is the craziest offseason news I think I've ever heard. Because I didn't really pay that much attention back in the Reggie White days. I mean, I kind of did, but not like I do now. So when I heard that, yeah, I mean, I was smiling the rest of the day at work. Every customer that came in, I'm like, oh, you a Packer fan? Did you hear the news? It was fun. It was so much fun. It is a lot of money. I mean, between Jordan Love and Micah Parsons, now we're paying $100 million to 2 players on our team currently, that's a lot. But I mean, the salary cap goes up every year, so hopefully by the back end of this, we're not hurting too bad. But yeah, it's crazy. I think it opens the Packers up to a lot too. I think it opens up to let Jordan Love sling it like he did his first year starting. When he kind of had some questionable throws and he threw a little bit more picks. Seems like last year they just weren't throwing it as much, but I think with Micah Parsons on your team, you can kind of go back to that style of let him play like Favre did. He's going to throw some picks, but he's going to have some awesome throws. But when you have a guy like that can just stop the other team from going right back down to scoring if you fuck up, it lets you do that kind of thing more, which is what I'm really excited for this season.
Yeah, if it all clicks, I mean, it's going to be an incredible unit. The defense is going to carry them through a lot of games. You can't really beat having 2 of the best premier pass rushers in the league on one side of it. And Gary, I think a lot of people don't understand how good he actually is too. He just needs to stay healthy. He's a little inconsistent, but this will help him be a little bit more consistent too. He's going to have one-on-one matchups with the lesser tackle probably, or he won't have as much focus. And the other thing with them too, a lot of pass rushers, obviously they have their hands on the ground. You have 2 guys that stand up, so you can kind of mix and match where you want them to rush. It's a lot harder to predict that. So some of the best defenses in our lifetimes have been the Pittsburgh Steelers defenses, and that's how they always operated. They like to mask their pass rushers, so that could be a really strong thing. One of the funniest things that I saw though with this, I didn't realize how lopsided people thought the trade was. I went on Reddit and everyone was just kind of laughing, and then all these different things started coming out about Jerry Jones. Dude was pissed. Him and Parsons clearly they didn't see eye to eye anymore.
That was not a salvageable relationship.
He was butthurt, and he traded him. Just said basically get him out of here. He didn't want to give him a deal, which is just absolutely nuts. And it sounded like that. What happened was Parsons went to him without an agent, and then they agreed to some deal. Mm-hmm. And then basically he went back and must have talked to some kind of agent and told him it was a really shitty deal. And then they went back and then they tried to renegotiate, and that's where Jerry got pissed. So that's why this all happened, from what I heard. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, think of that. It's pretty funny, too. He pissed off Jerry Jones, and I know Packer fans always like to hear that.
I've heard the same rumors. Yeah, it was basically Mulligetta, I think, is his agent.
Yeah.
He's the agent getting all these huge contracts lately.
Yeah.
I don't know how this guy's so good, but yeah, it sounded like, Jerry Jones and Parsons had some sort of agreement. They spoke, and Parsons just said, hey, this guy's going to get 3% of my contract. He needs to be involved. I'm not putting my name on the line without talking to this guy. He represents me. And Jerry Jones didn't want to hear it, so crazy to let him go over something petty like that.
Dallas very, very much has a Jerry Jones problem at this
Big
point. And I think Goody is a genius for exploiting that. As far as I think they fleeced Dallas as far as trade compensation, but then what they ultimately ended up paying for was almost $50 million a year in salary. Mm-hmm. In this case, it kind of, in that sense of respect, it kind of reminds me of in a soccer sense, you have a team pays $100 million for a player. as far as a transfer fee. That's sort of like your trade value. And then on top of that, they also get their weekly salary, which in the case of a good soccer player these days is like $500,000 or $500,000 a week, which is insane. So it's the same kind of deal there. It's fine. Like, I'm trying to think back of how, relate this trade to other ones in the past. Like, I think this is better than the Khalil Mack to the Bears trade. I think the Packers, this made the Packers significantly better with this trade than what Khalil Mack did with the Bears.
Thing, though. Khalil Mack was just as good as Parsons, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, but my part for that was
the Bears were
weren't good. Yeah,
he went to a team. Micah Parsons is going to an NFC contender already.
Khalil Mack also made their team significantly better than
next year. Yeah, he did.
They went to the playoffs the following year.
He terrorized the Packers.
He took a 4-win team.
When he was on the Bears.
Khalil Mack took a 4-win team and put him in the playoffs the following year with that one addition.
Yeah.
So now imagine the same thing, but you're already a playoff team. How much does that elevate you? I mean, I think it's easier to go from a garbage team to like a fringe playoff team like they did than it is to go from a good team to a great team. I think it just takes more to make that last level of the jump. But this is the kind of thing you have to do to make it happen.
Like, I think Green Bay, before this trade, was third in the NFC behind Philly and Detroit. I think this vaults them to number one.
Maybe the Rams or the Buccaneers. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely a top contender now in the NFC. We still got the AFC that's still pretty stacked with the usual suspects, but
Bills, Ravens. Yeah.
I mean, does anyone think that part of this for Jerry Jones is he wants another Herschel Walker situation and be like, yeah, I did this. I traded away a guy, everyone laughed at me, but look at us 5 years from now, we're dominating again.
So this is
I kind of think he might be at level of hubris, and that might be what he thinks, but there's no way it works, and he's 82. Are you going to live to see what you made, even if you do make something? It's wild. That's the only thing I can think of from his point of view is, like, he thinks this is legitimately, like, cashing in and, like, building for the future.
I don't know.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, you are paying a man almost $50 million a year, 47, and I think another guy before that was the highest defender played was like $40 million. So the Packers just shot that up.
I think it was like 43, but
I'm wondering if too there was maybe other teams that had similar offers to the Packers, but then it was a situation where Parsons got to go out and find his contract as well because they had to communicate in some way. So I think the Packers also won this by paying Parsons probably more than anybody else. So when you're looking at it that way, you're thinking if there's other teams that are valuing him less than that. So they reset the market. This is almost like the Deshaun Watson trade when it comes to a financial standpoint. It's like they're like, we have to give him a deal that is kind of ludicrous to try to win him to our team. And that's what happened with Watson. So I'm just saying it doesn't always work out. It is a lot of money, and it's from a team building perspective, it could be detrimental in that way.
I will say too, the other big, pass rushers that got signed this last year was Watt and Myles Garrett, and they're both 30. Like this is
Hendrickson too from Cincinnati. He got paid too this offseason.
But they're all older. This is like the only guy
those were also re-signed.
26. Yeah, but I mean they were all up for contract negotiations, and they did get paid. They all got paid big, and Parsons is I don't know how much more, but it was a significant jump over the other guys. Well, but he's also 26. Like they're signing him until he's 30, so it's like this is the prime 4 years of his career most likely. So it kind of warrants a little bit more than the other guys.
Maybe it also sets up a re-signing situation because with 3-year contract,
he'll get another big contract.
Yeah,
he's going to cash in twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe if it goes well in Green Bay, say they win a Super Bowl or two, maybe he'll re-sign at a discount. Who knows?
Well, these guys can still play. Past 30. It's not like I just don't think it'll be. You're usually starting to go downhill, but you're still like going to be a top 10 dude in the NFL doing what you do. But there's probably going to be a younger guy that's gets past you at that point, like those other guys kind of have, in my opinion. But see, I mean, that I think that's why he got paid what he got paid. It sounds like a massive jump, but when you compare the ages of all these guys that were signing the contracts, I think this one just makes sense. And this is his first big contract, right? I mean,
yeah, this is his first contract off his rookie deal, right?
Because they were arguing over the 5th year. And I think the one thing that Jerry said to him after they got pissed off, he's like, you're going to play in the 5th year, and that's that. Like,
it sounded like he said, I ain't playing then.
Right. So that's kind of where their argument started. So, yeah, he was still on his rookie contract. As a Lions fan, I hate it because now I'm sure we're looking at like 50 for Hutch. So in that
That's another
perspective
thing.
too, Hutch just got jumped up.
I've heard that argument before too. Is like, yeah, you kind of stick it to Detroit by doing this because they're going to be in the same spot in a year.
Yep.
And everyone wants to get the new record.
Oh, Hutchinson's
sure
going to get
Hutch is
the
gonna
new
want
record.
it.
We're not
Yep.
getting no discount. But here's the perspective. We're paying, I think, Penny Sewell $28 million. You guys are paying Micah Parsons $47.
47.
We're paying Amon-Ra St. Brown like $30.
Yeah.
So if you think about it that way, that's when you look at the contract. Obviously, contracts always keep going up, but those are just contracts that are signed last year or two. So yeah, it's a big jump. They really reset the market.
I haven't looked. Does anybody know what Kenny Clark was getting paid this year? It sounded like
I don't know.
that was in the 20s. So, I mean, really, from a cap perspective, they're only jumping an extra 20, and I think you get a significantly much better player in Micah Parsons than Kenny Clark.
And again, he's younger. Like our team, one of the youngest teams in the NFL just got younger by replacing Clark with Micah Parsons.
I don't think you cannot make the deal. I'm just
No.
trying to make a devil's advocate. I mean, that's the one spot where I think if you'd argue, like, you only see the Packers made it, you don't see all the teams that were also negotiating. And it was something that was clearly teams were scared off. And I think that contract was
Part of it sounded too like the Cowboys wanted a nose tackle. They wanted a Kenny Clark type of run-stopping guy on their team. So that kind of narrows who they're trading with too. Because I mean, if you want a good one, and Kenny Clark was very good at that. And I think, that might hurt us a little bit. It probably will hurt us a little bit in the run blocking, but
that presents a good point. What is Green Bay's run defense going to look like this year? Because Kenny Clark did have a lot to do with that.
I think Edgerrin Cooper was getting pretty good at that last year too. But he was
Clark makes him better.
true. I mean, that's true. Yeah, Clark will be missed. He was a great Packer. He was a Packer his whole career, and he was good every year. So I mean, you'll miss him, but you can't. Again, you still just can't not take that trade.
Yeah.
Micah's that caliber of player where
If you can
Anyone
get a
on our roster.
generational pass rusher for, God, I still think Green Bay fleeced him in that deal.
I think that's the general consensus is the Cowboys got fleeced.
Green Bay didn't have to give up another edge rusher. They gave up a guy who was 4 years older.
And it's only 2 draft picks. I'm surprised there's not a
Late first round draft picks.
Yeah, I'm surprised they couldn't get an extra, at least a third rounder or something out of that. That's crazy. It's just 2 first round draft picks. And like you said, those are going to be late. Those are going to be late picks.
Say Green Bay makes the NFC Championship game. That pick's 28-29 at best. Say they win the Super Bowl next year. That pick is 32. I mean, you're essentially 2 second rounders.
2 early seconds is probably what you're going to get for it.
And Kenny Clark,
Yeah, time will tell. But yeah, we had to go over that. That's crazy news. I'm sure every Packer fan was thrilled with it. But we'll jump into the actual segment and the point of this first episode. So we're doing power rankings for all of our fantasy teams. The way we're doing it is we're doing it by consensus. So myself, Jim, and Heebs, we all came up with a rank 1 to rank 12. We averaged them out, and we'll just start it off. So coming in at number 12. So 12 is the worst, first the best, in case anyone's curious. But number 12, we had Heebs. Our consensus averaged out to rank 11.66. So I had him at 11. Where did you guys have him?
I had myself at 12.
I had Heebs at 12 as well.
So I had him at 11. Yeah, both the other. Everyone else had him at 12. My thoughts on it was he went quarterback, tight end pretty early, and I mean Javonte Williams as a starting running back on your team is not good.
It's ass.
That was my note on his team. I'm not looking at the draft board right now, but that's what I wrote down. And
that was my only note on my team. It says running backs are ass. I love my wide receivers. I love my quarterback. I love my tight end.
So Heebs went wide receiver, quarterback, tight end, and then
running back.
And then another wide receiver, and that's why he has Javonte Williams as the starting running back in his team.
Yeah, who's Javonte Williams start playing for? Dallas?
Cowboys.
I didn't even know he was playing for.
He's Dallas' starting running back for now.
I mean, the ACL injury really hurt him, but he has some talent. I put him 12 just because of that, too. There's just no running back on the team. Even as a Lions fan, there's too many mouths to feed in Detroit. So Sam Laporta was taken a little bit early. I know you wanted to get McBride, and we kind of pigeonholed you into that one after you made the mistake. So maybe that would have looked a little better. But I also don't like Daniels that early. I just don't like quarterbacks early in general. And I think that was a high pick for Daniels.
I'm hoping the only reason I'm there is because I'm hoping for like mid-20s out of Daniels every week for points between touchdowns and rushing.
Could get there. I think he might regress. I don't know. Not a big fan, but it's more of a I just don't like quarterbacks early. So that's what did it for me.
I'll get into more later why I drafted him that high. But yeah, I'm real high on Daniels this year.
All right, so next at number 11 is our consensus. She came in at an average of 10.66 amongst our voting. We have Ashley. So I had her at 10. Jim, you had her
11.
And you?
I also had 11.
Okay, so 110 to 11s. My notes, I wrote again, tight end and quarterback early. It just kind of makes your starting lineup kind of weak. I thought David Montgomery was a pretty big reach to grab him early in the second.
That was a huge reach.
I get it when you're picking at the end, because she had pick 11, so you're kind of in that spot of if you don't take him now and you want him, he probably won't be there when he comes back around. I think David Montgomery might have been. I don't know. I thought that was a big reach. And then her other starting running back is Aaron Jones, who's kind of looking more and more like he's going to be splitting carries with Jordan Mason this year. And Jones never plays a full season either. I love him. He's awesome when he plays, but he never plays the whole season. And I think that's why they're going to try to spell him. So I think it's just, I don't know, she's kind of weak at running back. And then also with Nakua and the whole Stafford thing, like if Stafford can't play, Nakua's not going to be good. There's just a lot of question marks on there. I don't know if you guys have thoughts on it.
Montgomery was a huge reach in the second round, especially when you're looking at A-Chain, Jainty, Taylor, Chase Brown, Kyron Williams, all still on the board. Yeah, that's a huge reach. I think he's the 7th running back taken overall. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 running back, so I think that was a huge reach. Hawkinson is a gamble. We'll see. I know he was productive when he was healthy, but that's, again, same kind of thing with Laporta. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Minnesota, and they've got a rookie quarterback running the show now, so we'll see. Aaron Jones I don't like quite as much this year. They went out and spent money on getting Jordan Mason. I think Mason's going to eat a lot of Jones's touches. Jacoby Myers now wants out of Las Vegas, so who knows where he's going to end up, what that's going to do to his value. Eckler's stock went up. Doesn't say much for my team when I think Ashley's team is still significantly better than mine.
You just had an issue of not getting running backs. I mean, it just you went a little too crazy on the tight end quarterback and not really fixing that last one. But anyway, with Ashley's team, I mean, pretty much the same thing you guys said. Montgomery was a little early. I probably don't dislike him as much as maybe you guys did there, but I mean, it's still like an early pick. You can probably get him in the 3rd, 4th, but he was steady. When he was healthy, he was always like, top 8, 12 type guy. So he's more of that consistency guy, and I think sometimes people need to understand, like when you're drafting early in the draft, you want consistency. Sometimes people try to get too much value in like upside, and sometimes just taking the steady guy helps out. You should get your upside maybe in the middle rounds. So with that said, though, she took Mahomes and then early Hawkinson, so she doesn't really have a lot of upside later on in her bench. And a lot of the guys, like you said, are already having some issues of like wanting out of their contracts, might not be starters, so it's a little rocky.
All right, and then coming in at rank 10, we have Tiff with an average of 9.33 amongst our voting. So I had Tiff. Where did I have Tiff? I had Tiff at 12. And then where did you guys have her?
I had her 10.
I had her higher. I had Tiff up at 6.
Okay, so you had her pretty high.
Yeah, I did.
So, I mean, Tiff, she took a quarterback in the 1st round. That I mean, that sets you back. I get it. It's Josh Allen. He was the number one quarterback last year. He'll probably be the number one quarterback again this year. Actually, he wasn't. I think Lamar Jackson was. I don't know. I mean, they were both phenomenal.
They were like both.
They were both game breakers for you at quarterback position. So I get wanting them. But the first round has so many stud players in it. I mean, you can have Saquon. You can have Justin Jefferson, McCaffrey, Jacobs. Like, these are the guys who went right after. I mean, any of those guys. And you might have still gotten Allen on the turnaround in the next round. But I did like your second pick. I think Nico Collins fell pretty far. I would have taken him late. I would have taken over a lot of receivers that went before him personally. But and then she kind of took a tight end early too. I see Jerry Jeudy and Tajay Spears in her flex spot. It's again, I said this for the last two, but take a quarterback and a tight end early. It kind of sets your starting lineup. Your starting roster just it looks real weak and I don't like the back of it. But I mean, you do get those positional advantages, but it's just hard to look at on your starting lineup when you see that. I don't know what y'all's thoughts are.
I think we should talk to Heebs. He got our 6. I mean, he thinks a little bit more positively. What did you like about it?
Well, Allen, first round is ballsy. I mean, logically it makes sense. He's probably going to be one of the top 5 scoring players in the league. But that's just, benefit of the quarterback position and how the points work. So logically, I mean, that makes sense. But, like, how, read the draft. Like, yeah, I agree. I think Josh Allen would have been there with her second overall pick. And she very much could have gotten an improvement over her first round value. Cook, I know a lot of experts are high on Cook, especially after he just signed his deal with Buffalo. He's now one of the higher paid backs in the league. So maybe they know something I don't. I'm not real high on Cook just because I know Buffalo's also high on Ray Davis. Mm-hmm. So who knows how many, I don't know. As a number one, I was thinking Cook more like running back 2 value. So
I would say he does pair up well with Allen, I guess. Because he gets those receiving touchdowns. And when they're down there, her odds of getting a touchdown between one of those two is pretty high by having both of them on your team.
Yeah, that's very true. McBride, it sounds like he's going to be by far and away probably the number 1 tight end. I read somewhere like they're expecting like 15 points a game out of this guy down in Arizona. So we'll see. That could be he could be the next Travis Kelce for TIFF. Who knows? We'll see.
It depends if they can score enough.
Yeah.
If Arizona's good enough, he'll be very good.
I actually feel like Pollard for her as a running back 2 in the 6th is really good value. Because I think Tajay Spears is he hurt or I don't know. Early reports on Spears I feel like haven't been great, so I think Pollard's going to get a lot of volume this year.
She's got both.
Yeah,
Pollard and Spears.
Oh yeah, I see that now. Judy I think is going to be a good flex there. Godwin will probably pay off later in the season. Aubrey's going to be number 1 kicker. Not that kicker. I mean. He'll probably get her the most points. Kareem Hunt, who knows, that might be a really, really sneaky good last round pick. Who knows, depending upon the running back situation in Kansas City. But I think Hunt's going to get at least 10 to 15 touches a game.
Okay.
For me, I mean, it was mostly like, again, everyone else, Allen. There's no point in taking a quarterback really early. Their positional value is just not there. Like you said, you want a certain amount of points out of a quarterback. But, he'll probably be one of the number 1, top 3 guys. But you can also get guys at, 9 and 10 who are only, 2 or 3 points less per game. And if you actually take and you mix and match quarterbacks, you can sometimes outpace the number 1 quarterbacks. So it's it's a pretty easy thing to replace value. So I'll never take a quarterback early or like them when they're taken early. The rest of our team is kind of solid, but then you also take the Broncos and kicker a lot earlier in the middle rounds where you want to build the depth of your team. So that's just a couple of things I just think are kind of taboo, and that's what was my reason for low ranking.
Yeah, even more so when you go quarterback tight end early. If you do that, then you have to wait on your kicker and your defense. You really need to build the depth and get the flyers and hope
Exactly.
hope some of these guys pan out and take a jump this year or outperform their draft position. Okay, so then at number 9 we had Richard. So he came in at the average of the three of us, 8.66. Richard, I had him at number 8, so pretty close to our consensus. You had him.
Animate as well.
You also had him 8, so we're both at 8 there. Where do you have Richard?
I think I had Richard. I had number 10.
You had him at number 10, so a little bit lower. We were all kind of in that general vicinity. I didn't like his first overall pick being Gibbs. Can't blame that one on Adam. Apparently, he did text Richard, and so at least the very first overall pick is credit to Richard, not Adam. Caleb Williams is your starting quarterback. I didn't like that at all. I mean, it was a very late quarterback, so that's kind of what you're getting down there, but I don't like Caleb Williams. You guys might have different views on him. I think I was talking to Heebs earlier, and he does have a different view on him, but I'm not a Caleb Williams believer. I don't think he's done anything in the NFL so far, and maybe this year will change with the new head coach and a little bit more structured situation around him, but I don't like that as your starting quarterback. I'll pass it to whoever wants to comment on it next.
Yeah, I'll take it. For me, Caleb Williams, I didn't like him his rookie year. I think he has a lot of, growing up to do as far as, he's got to do better reading defenses. He's a little too skittish in the pocket. He had a lot of talent around him last year, so it should have been better, but he also had some pretty poor coaching. So I can understand why, Ben Johnson going over there is a reason to hype him up. I have no problem with someone taking a quarterback late like this. This is kind of the strategy I prefer. So you just take a guy with a lot of upside. I don't really love Caleb Williams, but the upside's there for him to be a top 5 quarterback. Everything hits. So that's kind of why you draft a guy like that late. So that's why this strategy works, but you have to hit the right guy. Jahmyr Gibbs being number 1 overall, I'm not going to really complain about the top 5 picks and where they go. I mean, obviously for me, I had Saquon Barkley last year. I'd probably taken him for this year just because I got to go through that and probably, just want to do that again. But really, when it comes to the top 5 guys, they're all pretty close. So you kind of just pick the one that you like the most and go from there. The big thing that knocked my rating down was the Rashee Rice suspension. I mean, he basically lost his number 2 receiver already. So that's hard. And he's got a couple upsides at running back. And you just take as many shots at the dartboard as you can with those. And I think he's got a couple good names. And George Pickens as well. Really high upside number 2 receiver. So there's a lot of potential on that team, but just some turmoil already from the season.
Biggest reason I had him little bit lower than you guys. I think Gibbs is bad value at first overall. He might be a top 5 running back, so I just number 1 overall. I don't see the value there. I'm not real high on Brian Thomas this year. I think he's an outstanding receiver. I just don't trust Jacksonville. I'm looking at Brock Bowers as probably his number 1 overall player. Because it sounds like Bowers is going to catch 120 balls for 1,500 yards this year because he's going to be the only offense the Raiders have.
They got a running back now.
We'll see. I have thoughts on Jane T. I'm not going to share those just yet. Rice will definitely hurt his team in start of the season with that suspension, but I think towards the end of the season, maybe if he's fighting for a playoff spot, Rice will come in handy there. I actually do like RJ Harvey this year. I think he's going to be the number 1 back in Denver just because Dobbins, as good as he is, he's not very reliable. I think Harvey's going to be the guy there. Actually kind of excuse me, kind of like Charbonnet a lot actually because Kenneth Walker is great. Charbonnet. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to. Yep, I do drink for that one.
I'm pretty sure it's Charbonnet.
Yeah, it's Charbonnet.
Yeah, you're probably right. I think he's gonna end up being about 50-50 with Kenneth Walker this year.
Boo.
Yeah, I know because you have him, but
I think that's the plan for him.
Walker's. His only knock has been his reliability because he misses at least 2-3 games every single year. But I think if they go more of a split, which is what they intend on doing, I don't know. We'll see. I want no part of any of the running backs in Jacksonville. Caleb Williams, we'll see. Big upside for Williams, I think. I think he could benefit from the improved coaching. I've got him as a top 10 quarterback, so getting him in the 11th round I think is decent value there. I really like his Wan'Dale Robinson pick. I think Wan'Dale's going to be pretty solid because I think he was top 20 like the last 2-3 years. 12th round.
Brian Robinson?
Yeah, it's Brian Robinson,
Are you
who's now on San Francisco.
Yeah,
he wasn't at the
and he
time.
just dropped him.
Man.
Yeah, he's not even on his team anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I had Wan'Dale Robinson as that draft pick. Either way, it does not change my ranking.
Yeah, I mean the only thing
Yeah, it's the last.
I didn't like about Gibbs is like all the other top tier, like the first round running backs are generally like the dude on their team, and I don't think Gibbs is. Like he might be more talented than any of the other guys after him, but he's splitting carries. That's just why I don't like him first overall. I mean, you might say it's splitting hairs, but it's like, dude, David Montgomery is extremely involved, and unless you think that's going to change this year,
Jameer Gibbs
I don't see any reason for it
a
to.
clear-cut number one like guys like Barkley.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I think he might be more talented. He might be more
Bijan.
talented than Barkley, Bijan, all those guys. But I don't. He's just splitting carries. Unless you think the Lions' offense is going to be historically great like it was last season, then I don't know if there's enough production to be splitting.
Yeah, we
amongst
really
two
should
running
ask the
backs.
resident Lions expert.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to not even go into like the Lions side of it as much as I'm just going to go over in the philosophy side point, because the one argument was that he splits carries.
Mm-hmm.
So Bijan Robinson splits carries. He probably has a little bit more, like he gets carries than Bijan. Bijan gets more carries than Gibbs, I think, and probably a couple more passes, but like he still splits carries at his destination. And Saquon Barkley has the biggest voucher in the NFL. He's got Hurts. So he technically splits carries too.
Well,
he loses so much
sure.
more. If you actually get rid of Hurts and you gave Barkley at least 80% of the touchdowns that Hurts had last year, he's probably the best running back of all time in fantasy football, right? So I mean, he's already being
you're
vouched a
absolutely
bunch.
right.
So like
You
really
gotta-
that argument used to be more prevalent, I think, like 10 years ago when like there was a lot more bell cows, but nowadays like everyone is splitting. So Lions, like you said, if they're historical, you're not going to care. Gibbs is still going to be one of the top 5 running backs. If they're not historical, Montgomery gets injured, Gibbs can be the number 1 running back. If the Lions underperform, then yes, then that pick isn't good, but I'm not going to bet against Lions offense.
sure, that's fair enough.
So would you take Gibbs over guys like Bijan, Barkley, McCaffrey?
He'd probably be my 5th. I would have probably gone Barkley number 1, Chase number 2, Jefferson number 3, Bijan, and then Gibbs. So
Okay.
I'm not trying to say that as like anything hate on you. What your guys saying about Gibbs is correct. I would agree with it for the most part. But I think he is in that tier. Like once you get past those 5, it drops off. So
Yeah.
if I get one of those
That's
5 guys, I'm happy. It doesn't matter if I'm number 1.
Yeah,
number
that's
5.
fair. I think that's just why I don't have him in the top 5. Cause I think more so than the other guys, though, he is just splitting carries.
More
I
so,
understand all running backs do, I mean, to some extent, but some of the guys, it's like, if there's another guy in, they're not good, and the team would prefer to get him back off the field as quickly as possible. Versus Gibbs, that's not the case for him. He's actually got another good running back running alongside him. But enough time on Richard's team. We'll jump into number 8. So number 8 we have Vicky. So she came in at 8.33 amongst our consensus average. I had her at 9. Jim
9 as well.
also 9
I had Vicky at 7.
and 7. So we're all in pretty close ballpark there. Yeah, I didn't write too much on this one. The only thing I wrote down was T. Higgins, Xavier Worthy, and Travis Hunter as your top 3 wide receivers is a little bit worrying to me. I don't really feel super confident in any of those guys. T gets hurt all the time. Xavier Worthy, I think he's still kind of an X factor, and Travis Hunter should be good, I guess, but I don't even know if he's the number 1 wide receiver on his team, and he's playing cornerback, and maybe Travis Hunter will blow everyone's mind and he'll just be fantastic, but I feel like just the whole playing 2 positions is weirding everyone out, so that's my thoughts on our team.
I kind of went back and forth there because I like our first 2 picks. I like Jacobs. I like GNT. I think sometimes you get a bell cow running back. Those are actually 2 guys that probably will get closer to like 90 to 95% of their team's carries. So even if they're not as productive offenses, maybe Jacobs is on a better offense and maybe not. I'm not sure. But the Raiders are probably not going to be the greatest. But you're going to get a lot of production on those 2. T. Higgins is one of those number 2 receivers that can flirt with number 1 points per week. And honestly, if he stays healthy with Burrow and Chase all healthy at the same time, who knows where it's going to go? I don't know if we've really even seen it yet. So maybe there's just 2 top 5 receivers on that team. So I don't mind Higgins there, but it is kind of risky to have Higgins as your number 1 receiver. I never really liked Worthy, but you got Rice going out for 6 weeks. That might help Worthy go a little bit higher. So that's kind of where I started getting to the point where I'm like, okay, I kind of like it a little bit. And then you have Pittman. Isn't Michael Pittman a starter for the Colts? Like, well, why is he still
Yeah, he's their number 1.
Yeah. I feel like Pittman went really late. I almost feel like he might be the best pick in the draft. So that actually helped me like calm my nerves about Worthy when I saw Pittman on the roster, and even Hunter taken before, because now you have the real high upside guy. And I think Pittman
just has a quarterback problem.
But he's actually got, I think, a better quarterback that he'll have better output for. So I think he's actually one of the most criminally underrated players right now in fantasy. So like it.
Anything to add, Heebs, or should we move on to number 7?
I honestly,
thoughts on Genty?
Yeah. Once we do bold predictions,
we'll save it for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, we'll move
because
on.
I have a bold prediction about JT.
Okay.
But we'll get into that
so
later.
We'll save the Genty thoughts till later. So number 7 we have as our consensus is Poor Boy, and he came in at 7.66 amongst our averages. I had Poor at 7. So exactly where he came in.
Same for me.
Jim also had 7.
I dropped him. I had him at 9.
You had him at 9. Okay. So you had him a little bit lower, but all same ballpark once again. My thoughts on his team was he's very Ravens dependent. Zay Flowers and old man Devontae Adams as your starting wide receivers, I don't like. Zay Flowers has not done it yet. Maybe he will this year. Devontae Adams has done it plenty of times, but he just keeps getting older, and his best days are definitely behind him. He's the wide receiver 2 on that team, I presume. Puka's obviously going to be the number 1. And then you also have just Matt Stafford's health, which maybe that won't be an issue, but it just seemed like such a weird question mark in the offseason. So I don't have a lot of confidence in taking the receivers on that team because of that, or the running backs either, personally.
Talk about riding the Ravens this year. Henry in the first round. We'll see. That might not end up being too bad of a pick. Jackson's going to get his. He always will. Adams as the first receiver on that team, I don't like that at all. Flowers. I think Flowers will be a solid number 2 there. I think that was good value. Kamara as a number 2 running back. I actually kind of like that because I think he's probably going to be a top 20 running back. Mixon, boy, I like Mixon a lot more before about the last week when it now they're.
Yeah, I don't think he's even getting drafted anymore in fantasy.
Yeah, there's question marks whether Mixon's going to play at all this season. Cooper Kupp is old. I'm actually high on Jordan Mason. I think he can end up being a number 2 running back this year. So I think that's really good value there in the 9th round. Jaden Reed. I think my problem with the Packers receivers, I like a lot of the Packers receivers, but I think it's going to be which one is going to produce at what week.
Jaden Reed has a Jones fracture on his foot, and he is not getting surgery, so he's going to play with it all season.
Oh.
Which is not good.
That I hadn't heard. So he's got a bum foot.
Yep. And he will all season, because he's not going to deal with it this year until the off season. So it's a pain management thing, but, that's not good. You're going to be leaving the field, and you're not going to be in there all the time. I would have liked this team. I feel like he should have gone for the tight end from the Ravens, too. Pick one of them. You can take Isaiah Likely super late. You might still. I don't even know if he got drafted. Maybe you could still pick him up.
I don't know why he drafted Tyler Bass when Tyler Loop was right there. He could have gone with Ravens, the Ravens kicker, too. Next Justin Tucker. Yeah. I'll happily take the next Justin Tucker as the last pick in the draft. That might be the best pick in the whole draft. Who knows?
He's just got a lot of old players, and they need to. I think he's going to start out early, like strong, and then he might taper off later in the season because those guys do get banged up a little bit more. So hopefully by that time Mixon's like maybe playing, who knows?
Yeah, hopefully.
And then that will help out a lot. But if the injuries aren't there, I mean, he's got a lot of like solid.
I feel like
number one.
5 years ago, poor boy probably wins the league.
Yeah, right. Okay, so coming up next we have Lee at number 6. He was our consensus. I guess it gets a little wonky here, but he came in consensus at a rank of 5 amongst us. And Lee, I had him at number 1. So I'm pretty high on his team. Where did you guys have him?
6.
8.
6 and 8. Okay, so we have a very wide variance on this one. So Lee, I mean, his first round pick, if I would have done this a week ago, I probably wouldn't have had him at number 1, but I think CD goes way up the board by losing Parsons. I mean, I think their offense is they're gonna have to try to do what the Bengals did last year. It'd be like, our defense blows, we're giving up 30 points a game, we need to score a lot of points, and I think that's gonna benefit CD a lot. And probably Dak Prescott too, if whoever got him. Yeah, I mean, then he followed it up, he had Achane and Irving, which that's an awesome starting running back duo, especially when you already have who I think might be the number 1 scoring wide receiver this season. That's a huge first 3 picks. I like Bo Nix where he got him. Tucker Kraft, I really wanted him in most of my drafts, but just because we're in Packers area, I knew I wouldn't get him. I thought he was a great value for like a round or 2 above where he was supposed to go, but I think Lee took him like 3 or 4 rounds above where he normally goes in most mock drafts that I've seen. I think he's going to be fantastic. I think Jordan Love's going to rely on him more this season. He was already doing a lot last season, and not only is he like a good receiver that catches the ball, like he has moves after the catch. Like he has a ton of yards after the catch, and it's very impressive to watch him. I love Tucker Kraft. So yeah, I put him as number 1. I just like a lot about his team, almost everything about his team. You guys had him lower, so I want to see what you think.
I guess I'll go. I don't think Lamb jumps that high. I don't think losing Parsons really changes Lamb's like position at all. So I would still keep him as like the 6th or 7th player in the draft. So I think that's right around value. Achane, I really like Achane. I don't really like Achane because he is tied to Tua, and I don't know if Tua can finish the season healthy. So Achane could be really great. He could also be what he was last year when Tua wasn't around, and that's almost unplayable. Love Bucky Irving. Had him last year. He was one of my favorite players coming into the draft season last year, and now he's like a 3rd rounder, which I think is really cool. He's a great runner. I actually probably like him more than Achane, so I would have. I have no problem with that pick. That pick's great. Garrett Wilson. I don't know about Justin Fields as your number 1 quarterback. With him, he's going to probably drop down a little bit. So those are things that kind of worry me. But I think the rest of his draft is pretty solid. I don't mind Kraft. I don't mind the Bo Nix pick. Matthew Golden probably seems a little early for me, but the Ohio State receiver Egbuka, I think is actually probably better than Golden. And I think that's going to be one of the picks that he'll actually be relying on later in the season. And then Braylon Allen, I think if he gets the full-time gig, could be a really solid running back. So he's got a lot of upside on his bench that I like.
Yeah. I actually kind of...
Where'd you have him again?
I had Lee down at 8.
8, okay. So you had him pretty low.
I did. I think Lee is going to rely on hope. I think you better hope that Golden is Green Bay's number 1. I think you better hope Egbuka becomes one of the best slot receivers in the league. Jim, you mentioned Braylon Allen could maybe take over the lead back role from Breece Hall. Is there any rumblings of that? Is that true?
I've heard rumblings of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's news to me.
Well, I've heard they're going to be splitting carries at least.
Okay.
It's not going to be the Breece Hall show this year.
Breece Hall's had a lot of bad press this offseason.
Okay.
Or lukewarm press, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Other than that, Nix I think is good value there. What did I have? I think Nix was the 7th quarterback off the board. Garrett Wilson. We'll see what the Jets are. Garrett Wilson could be a top 10 weird receiver, or he could be top 30. I don't know. We'll see. I also echo Jim's sentiments on Achane. If it's the A chain of 2 years ago, it's a great pick. If it's the A chain of last year, it's an awful pick. Bucky Irving is going to be the number one running back there. So honestly, we'll see. Yeah, that's my thoughts on Lee's team.
Okay. And then, so position 4/5 actually wound up in a tie with our consensus ranking. It's between myself and Jackie. So we'll go over Jackie's team first, but our consensus was tied at 4. So Jackie's team, I had her at number 5. I thought it's just a well-balanced team. I think she did a good job of getting good value at running back and wide receiver early, so she's not like lacking on either one. I wasn't a big fan of Purdy, especially where she took him, but I can kind of see it because she has Purdy/Kittle, which could be honestly a pretty good combination considering what's going on with San Francisco's wide receiver, just positions in general. Everyone's hurt in San Francisco right now, so that might wind up kind of balancing out. That's really all I had for it. It's an overall. It's well drafted, good team.
Yeah, I agree. I actually wanted Kittle really bad. I was hoping to get Kittle. She took him.
Where'd you have Jackie?
Before me. I had 5. Yeah, at 5. So yeah, I really like Kittle.
Literally took Kittle right before.
Yep, I was so excited. I thought, man, I was going to get the draft exactly how I wanted it, and then she took Kittle. So I love Kittle. I think he's going to be potentially. I'll put it out right here, right now. I think he's going to be the number 1 tight end this year. Barkley's the number 1 pick in my opinion, so she got him, pretty late. Like I said, though, it's not a big deal as long as you get one of those top 5 guys. I don't really like Chase Brown that much. I don't like Tyreek Hill that much, so that's where I kind of get a little bit hesitant with their team. But I love Njigba. I love Kittle. I think I really like Tracy where she got him. And Jordan Addison, I feel
That's
like
so late for him.
I feel like he went really late. I mean, yeah, he's gonna be suspended for a little bit, but like he's that guy. Like if Hill does kind of falter a little bit and he gets a little too much in the way of his head and gets suspended or something, or I never know with Hill. That guy's crazy. But I think Addison's a good fill-in or eventually her flex. So yeah, I like Jackie's team.
I had Jackie a lot higher. I had Jackie at number 2 overall in mine. I think Chase Brown's going to be an awesome running back. I think he's going to get a ton of points in that offense. Excuse me. Hill, as you're in the 3rd round as number 1 wideout, I think Hill's still going to get his points this year. And having Seattle's number 1 as number 2, I think there's good value there. Kittle, awesome value in the 5th round. I've seen Kittle going in 3rd and 4th round of a lot of 12-team mocks. So I think 5th round is excellent value there. I don't like Purdy overall as number 1. However, she turned around and got Drake May late, and I think Drake May could be a top 10 quarterback this year. So I think there's excellent opportunity at quarterback there. Since I drafted Henderson is my number 1 running back, I'm sure Stevenson's going to be New England's number 1 running back, so I think there's good value there. Addison is awesome value. I think I really like Jackie's depth.
Yeah, it's a good team overall. So we'll follow up with my team since we were tied there. So, like again, this is a 4/5 tie. My team, I didn't put much notes because it's my team, so I liked it, but I tried to evaluate honestly. I had myself ranked at number 6. You guys, it must have been higher to put me here, but I love my wide receivers. My first 2 picks, I was ecstatic about getting Jamar Chase and Drake London. I think could easily be 2 of the top 5 wide receivers this year. But when you do that and then you take Joe Burrow to pair with Chase, you really kind of sacrifice on your running back. So I'm kind of hoping my team revolves around Caleb Johnson for Pittsburgh, and if he's going to be like Pittsburgh's bell cow, and if Pittsburgh's decent, if that doesn't pan out, I might be in a little bit of trouble. I do have Hubbard and Pacheco, but I'll end it there because it's my team. I don't want to talk about it too much. I don't know where you guys have me ranked or what your thoughts are.
I had you at 5.
Okay, so pretty close to me.
Yeah, I agree. Chase and London are going to get you a ton of points. Burrow was an awesome pick there to pair with Chase. You're getting a ton of points there.
I reached a little bit on Burrow. I did reach out a little bit, but I wanted him, and being at the end, I was like, there's no way he's coming back, so if I want this pairing, now's when I have to take him.
I don't consider Burrow a reach as a third-round pick. Not at all. I think that was an awesome pick for you there in the third round. I love Pacheco there for you in the sixth. Yeah, I think Pacheco's going to be a top. I think if he's healthy, I think he'll be top 10 for Kansas City. Hubbard, I think, will be a top 20 running back, so I think that's good value there in the fifth. I honestly, if Caleb Johnson ends up being all right, I think he's just going to be an awesome addition on your bench, and you can kind of throw him in whatever you need to. McMillan is a huge question mark. I will see. The Panthers are going to run through Bryce Young, so if he was like he was at the end of the year, I think he'll be a pretty solid pick. But if he's anything in the Bryce of old, he's probably not going to be on your roster by week 4. As far it's kind of looking at everyone's bench throughout, just doing these power rankings and stuff. It's kind of like, really, it's all dart throws once you get past your starters.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. But sometimes you dart throw the Packers defense with your final pick, and then magically becomes the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, it's going to be your weekly starter because you should probably only have to really. You can honestly, you can legit. I would think.
I originally planned to drop him before week 1.
Oh,
I was
God,
I'm just throwing out a name.
I think they're undroppable now. Like, if any
threw out a
defense
name
is
and then I was
undroppable, it might be the Packers defense.
You need to pick at the end of the draft. You're like, I don't fucking care. It's my defense. I'll switch him out for that. Because they're playing the Lions. I didn't really want to start him, but I was like, I got to keep him.
I don't know if I would even drop the Packers defense on my bye week. I would probably.
We'll see how they do. We'll see how they do. I wouldn't say that yet.
Well, I'm not as high on the Packers, but I did give Kyle the number 1 ranking this year. I gave it to you because I think Chase and London are good chance to be top 5 receivers. Chase probably the number 1, number 2, and I think London is going to get peppered with targets. He was actually the guy I kind of debated between Jonathan Taylor and Nico Collins on my second pick. Just those like 5 guys before that. So London, love it there. Burrow, I did agree it's a little bit of a reach, but I think I like the idea of partnering him up with Chase, try to get the doubles of points. That does matter. You could probably got him like a round later, but you're just securing him there. You weren't going to probably get him in the 5th, so you had to take him. Like the Metcalf pick, I think Rodgers still has a decent deep ball, and he hasn't had a receiver like Metcalf. So I think that's going to be an interesting pairing. It's probably not going to be as good as, back in the day of Devontae Adams. He's not as versatile, but, he's a much better deep threat. So I think that could be something that is going to be more lucrative than people think at receiver. I like Hubbard, I like Pacheco. That's probably why I like your team the most. Obviously, you went with the whole 3 receiver, or quarterback, tight end, non-premium position early. So you kind of need a hit on your 5th and 6th pick at running back, which I think you couldn't have asked for 2 better picks. So that's why I put your team here. McMillan's good. Ray Davis is good. Bigsby's good. Ayuk's good. You have good guys on your bench, too, that will come up in later in the season and probably give you good points. And then Loveland, you're taking a dart throw at a tight end. It's not a bad idea to take a dart throw at a guy they picked 10th overall and has a mastermind at offensive coordinator who could take advantage of him.
I think Colston Loveland could put up Laporta-type numbers, to be perfectly honest.
That's the hope. I pointed on that position, obviously, but for me, if I take a quarterback early, I ain't touching tight end until super late, unless something falls to me. Or vice versa. If I take a tight end early, I'm punting on quarterback until late because I don't like taking 2 of them, at least until my whole starting roster is filled with positions, because it's so much to give up.
So
which is my consensus thing for all these low-ranked teams that I had on here. I don't like taking.
I'm personally just curious, but why Marshawn Lloyd in the 12th?
I don't know. Because everything you hear about him when he plays is so good, but he doesn't play. So I might just drop him. There's other dudes on the waiver right now that I would rather have than him, in all honesty, just because I didn't know he was going to be on. I don't think he was on IR at the time yet when I drafted him. I knew he was hurt, but I think there was he might play week 1 or 2, but now he's on the IR, so he's going to be out until at least week 5, which is the bye. So he won't play till week 6, which is not worth keeping on your roster. So he won't be on my team anymore, I don't think.
There's always a pick at the end of your draft that pretty much immediately you're like, yep, okay. So I don't really concern myself too much
you
with those
kind
last
of
couple
have
picks.
those with the end. So next up we have Jim. So he came in number 3 with an average of 3.33 amongst us. I had Jim at number 4, so slightly under our average. These guys must have him a little bit higher. Kind of like Jackie's team. I liked him. I think it's a good balance. He had wide receivers and running backs early, which just it helps keep your team strong in both situations. What else do I have on here? The only thing I didn't like is Ken Walker and Breece Hall as the intended starters. You kind of got to hope that the situations pan out for those guys. They're both extremely talented running backs. I love Ken Walker, but he gets hurt all the time. Breece Hall I also think is extremely talented, but I worry about the offense in general, and I worry about the whole Braylon Allen thing going on over there. But other than that, I mean, it's a well-rounded, good, well-drafted team.
Yeah, okay. Want to go?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah,
Where'd you have him ranked?
Oh, I had Jim at number 4.
4? Okay.
So, yeah, not too far. Honestly, I actually, I think I told you right before the draft that I was really going to pay attention to where you were picking because in my work league I'm drafting 6th. So I'm like, okay, I gotta see what, and it's also a 12-team league, so I'm like, okay, I want to see what Jim does, just for strategy. I generally like your team. Jefferson and Taylor if I can score those 2 guys in my first 2 picks, I'll be happier than a pig in shit. So I really like those first 2 picks for you. Breece Hall in the 3rd round. I guess we'll see if he's the bell cow on the Jets. I think that's going to be an awesome pick. But if Braylon Allen balls out, that it could lose some value there. I actually looked earlier today because I was so torn on Kenneth Walker. I'm like, is that good value in the 4th or not? And I happened to look. He's actually only missed 10 games overall in 3 seasons. So it's not. He hasn't missed a ton of time.
Does he miss half games?
It certainly feels like he misses a lot of time. Like I didn't go in a ton of in-depth research, but I'm like, I don't know. But if he's healthy, I think he's going to be an outstanding running back too for you. J-Mo in your flex, I think, is going to be fantastic. And then Scary Terry on your bench, and he just got paid. Damn, that's some depth at wide receiver. Oh, and Olave is your 5th. My God. I don't like Mark Andrews at tight end. I think he's going to be number 2 to Isaiah Likely. Parasol is going to have an outstanding start to the season, but once Ayuk comes back, I think his value is going to drop because I think I still have Juwan Jennings over Parasol just from what I've been reading from 49ers camp. Juwan's kind of the de facto 1 there. Parasol number 2. Goff is awesome value, I think, in the 10th round. Goff is going to be a top 10 quarterback, so to have him, get him that late, that's awesome. And just between Ford and Sampson, one of those 2 guys is going to start for Cleveland. So, and then awesome having Stroud. I think Stroud's going to have a bounce back year this year. I think he's going to be outstanding as your backup. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm the one that cranked the number up a little bit. I put myself at 2. You gotta put yourself higher. But I went into this draft. I thought this year in particular, I thought the middle rounds was really, really strong at receiver. So I actually took players I didn't necessarily even love at running back as much as the receivers there, just so I could build up the middle rounds of my team with receivers. I think the 4th, 5th, 6th round, you just keep hitting receiver and you're going to have a good team, especially if you drafted well in the first couple picks. So Jefferson, I was happy to get him there. Everyone knows how much I love Jefferson on this podcast. I think he's the best player in the NFL. Necessarily doesn't mean I think he's the best fantasy player, but as far as without position value consideration, best player in the NFL at his position. Jonathan Taylor, always liked him. He's a pretty steady guy. I think he's going to do better without having Richardson and all the chaos of switching quarterbacks every year. I think they're going to be a little bit more stable this year, which I think just helps the running back out more. Jonathan Taylor is probably never going to be more than a 6th through 12th finisher, but when you're getting him in your 2nd round, you just want something steady. Breece Hall, I'm not a huge fan of. I actually was hoping to get Ladd McConkey here. He was taking a couple picks before, and I kind of scrambled. And I really thought about Hampton because I just like the idea of having the Chargers running back with Harbaugh. But Breece Hall was just argued to be the number 1 pick just last year. So I'm just kind of thinking, whatever, I'll just take
He was
the
first
upside.
round last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, people were taking him as the number 1 running back last year. So,
I
like,
took him like 3rd overall last year.
when he's healthy, he's incredible. And I kind of like the idea that he is in trade rumors because he might be able to go to a team like the Texans and then just get put on an incredible offense and then blow up. Otherwise, he could be, like, not even playable. That's where the linchpin of my team is. I actually love Kenneth Walker. I will talk about that later. But Kenneth Walker is my favorite pick in the draft. So, like you said, other than that, I just drafted a bunch of receivers. I don't hate Andrews as much. He was really good at the end of last year. Likely he's not playing yet. I think he's just going to get your steady touchdowns. He might be dropped after a week or two, but when it comes to tight ends, you're not really looking for anything crazy. And then I just tried the quarterback stack with Goff and Stroud. I'm just going to take the best matchup each week and hopefully get over 20 points a week. So that was the mindset of my team. I think it's pretty solid top to bottom, but solid bench.
I mean, we all agreed it's a good team. So, and then number 2, with only one left to go, we have Mike. Our consensus averaged out to 3, but he's number 2. I had him at number 3. It's just again Mike's team. It's just a well balanced team. He went, wide receiver and running backs early on, so he got some really good value there. The only thing I really didn't like about it, and again, I have him in my top 3. I think he should have drafted a tight end before he grabbed his quarterback too. You're kind of nitpicking at this point. It's kind of later in the draft, but there was still some value to be had there. I think at tight end when he took his second quarterback. Because who did he take here? Mike took Herbert. Yeah, he took Justin Herbert, and there were still some decent tight ends there. I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of nitpicking. It's a good team overall. Top 3 preseason. You're kind of grasping at straws at this point to decide between one and the other. I don't know where you guys had him.
I had Mike at number 3.
Okay.
3 as well.
And one of the reasons it blows my mind seeing that James Conner is his 3rd running back taken 2 rounds after Omari and Hampton. And I say that because Connor's just one of those boring names, but dude puts up, he's
every
a top
season.
20 running back every single season.
Yep.
Whether he's plays the whole season or not, he's always putting up. So that's just outstanding value. I think having Connor right there, just as a flex. Hampton, I think, is going to be a top 20 running back. McCaffrey has never been hurt 2 years in a row, so he's gonna be Mike's.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. I think McCaffrey is going to be a top 3 running back this year. I think he's going to be better than Bijan. AJ Brown is always he's going to be there. Marvin Harrison, I think, is going to have a great year this year. I think he's going to be awesome there for Mike as a second wide receiver. Waddle, I think, is going to have another bounce back year. But again, the Dolphins go the way of Tua. So if Tua stays healthy, Waddle's going to get his. Kyler Murray, I actually like that, getting him later. I think Murray's going to be a top 10 quarterback as well. I love Dobbins as a football player. Dude just puts up numbers, but if he just got to stay healthy. I think Dobbins Harvey is going to be one of the best 1-2 running back punches in the league, I think. I'm actually pretty high on the Broncos this year. I think they could sneaky be one of the 4 best teams in the AFC this year. Justin Herbert's a solid backup. Algier, I know we kind of talked a little bit about this earlier, Algier did eat up into enough carries, I think, that I was genuinely surprised that I saw Bijan ranked number 1 this year. So I think Algier is great there. I think Mike's team is really, really balanced. I think he drafted well. I think Mike's going to be all right this year.
I actually like Mike's team, I think, more now that we talk about it more. So, it's McCaffrey's like the linchpin of his team, right?
It is.
Linchpin is like he has to stay healthy. But if McCaffrey stays healthy, his last couple seasons were actually still better than Barkley's of last year, points per game. So it's you're getting him as the 7th pick. you're getting a guy who could easily finish number 1 overall as long as he stays healthy. That's the only question mark. Just stay healthy.
Brian Robinson's not going to steal any carries
No.
there.
It's a McCaffrey show as long as his knees hold up. A.J. Brown has always been one of the top 5 receivers, and he always gets underdrafted every year, so that's a solid pick.
I agree.
Like I said before, I liked Hampton just because you got Harbaugh's running back. I'm just going to take that guy. The way Harbaugh looks at football, it's just bell cow. You're going to lean into somebody. They took him very high. They clearly like him. He's already been named the starter. I think there's just going to be a lot of production there, especially being tied to one of the best quarterbacks league in Herbert. I really expect big things from the Chargers. Don't love Marvin Harrison. I think he was kind of overrated as a rookie, but I still think there's the potential of him being just one of the best receivers in the league. James Conner, steady. My favorite pick probably was Jalen Waddle. I was actually hoping to get Jalen Waddle. This is the other pick that was taken right before me, both Kittle and Waddle. I was kind of disappointed, but I love Jalen Waddle. I would actually have taken him before Harrison, so he could have been easily a 4th-round pick for me. I've been happy. And then the solid bench. I mean, he's just got J.K. Dobbins. He's got Shakir. He's got Algier, who could end up being a starter if, Bijan Robinson's considered. That's a top 12 running back there. That's what you want on your bench. I don't have any complaints, really. Top to bottom, it's a solid team.
And he's got young Hoku, as he always does.
He's got the coup.
All right, so that leaves us with the last guy on the list, Karstens. So Karstens, after struggling for several years in fantasy football, he had a top team last season. And after the draft, going into the season, our consensus comes out at 233, but that's number 1 in our rankings. I had him at number 2, so just one spot below that. I love his early rounds. Where is Karstens here? Yeah. The only real gripe I have with his team is he took a second quarterback in the 9th round. But other than that, it's just good overall. He's got a lot of talent, a lot of good picks. Man, Jalen Hurts in the 4th round is great. Who could be the number 1 scoring quarterback this year. You never know with how many tush pushes he gets.
Get him late in the 4th round too.
Yeah.
This is why you don't take Josh Allen. Like, what was it? 4th overall. Because Hurts will be just right next to Allen, if not beat him at the end.
Even if Allen's better, Hurts isn't going to be much below. I mean, it'll be close. It'll be within 30 or 40 points at the end of the season.
Yep.
And you average that out over the 14 weeks we play regular season and 3 championship games. That's not a lot of points a week.
Now do the same exercise with Jamar Chase versus like some receiver like Devontae Smith or something, or like James Worthy. Like that's gonna be a much bigger gap in points than Hurts and Allen.
With at the end of the 3rd round, I was torn. It was either Daniels or Hurts for me. I was going quarterback at that pick, and I went Daniels. But so I was very surprised to see Hurts slip that many picks, to be perfectly honest, down into the 4th.
Yeah, he's got good. Evan Ingram, I like. I've always liked Evan Ingram. Hopefully, a new team can finally make some better use of him. J.J. McCarthy, I like the flyer there. Nick Chubb, super late. He might be nothing, but there's that 5% chance that Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb again. Just comes out of nowhere. Yeah, it's the good overall team. I like his early picks a lot. And it's just well-rounded and good. That's why he got number 1 pick as our consensus. I don't know where you guys had him.
I bumped him up to number 1 after, now that he's got technically Texans number 1 running back, and he got him in the 11th round. That was fantastic. If Dobbs stays healthy, he's going to be Green Bay's number 2 wide receiver, I think, behind Golden. So I think that's a really good value there in the 10th. Honestly, why not throw a dart at J.J. McCarthy in the 9th? I mean, as he already had Jalen Hurts, which might be one of the best picks in the draft in the 4th round. But yeah, I think McConkey's probably going to catch well over 100 balls this year. Kyron Williams, man, I feel like that guy scores like 25 points a game when he's healthy.
Dude gets touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
Yeah. As long as he stays healthy, I think having Bijan and Kyron as your number 1 and number 2, that's going to be just a ton of points with McConkey. Even Devontae Smith is your second wide receiver in the 5th. Like, damn. Top to bottom, I think Karstens has just an outstanding starting core and great great depth. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had him 4, so I think I'm the lowest on him. So obviously, I think his first 5 or 6 picks are great. I mean, I guess I'll let Devin Ingram. So the first 5, you can't really go wrong. I really like McConkey this year. I had Jalen Hurts last year. I love the idea of just the tush push. I don't care how good he is as a passer. He's just steady points every week. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be the guy who has like the blow up games like Josh Allen, but he's also not going to have the real low dud games just because of how much he gets on the ground, especially in the 1-yard touchdown category. So he's got a lot of steady players. McConkey's going to be a 100 reception plus receiver. Bijan Robinson could end up being the number 1 running back in the league easily. I think if he gets the full workload, he will be, but he just needs to get the full workload, and I didn't really like what they did with him last year, but as a talent, it's like him, Gibbs, and Barkley. There's no one else that's even like close. McCaffrey, I guess you could say, but he's a little bit older now. But love Devontae Smith, great pick. Don't really like Evan Ingram. That's kind of where it started to go downhill for me. Denzi, I don't mind. Not a big fan of Samuel, and I don't think you should be taking a backup quarterback when you have Hurts. Like, when are you ever going to start J.J. McCarthy?
You can trade him if you're into trading. Some people are going to miss on their quarterbacks pretty wildly and want somebody.
But that means he has to hit too. So, I mean, it's like you're already taking that risk. You just take, here, Chris Godwin. Take Chris Godwin. You can let him sit on your bench for 4 weeks, and then you get a number 2 receiver down later in the draft or later in the year, where it's like McCarthy, I think is going to be dropped by him in a week or 2. Dobbs and some of the other guys, we'll see. They're just like steady players that might give them good points and be good fill-ins if someone gets injured. But yeah, I don't mind his team. It's good. Just some things I question.
All right.
We'll have to, if we ever have Carson's on later this year, I'll have to ask him, because it's like, why take J.J. McCarthy? Like when you said Godwin's there, Addison's there, Pittman is there, Egbuka. Like, I don't know.
There's a lot of good names there and good starters that would have gave him a lot. I mean, even look at you got Godwin, Addison, Pearsall, Shakir, and Michael Pittman, and Egbuka all in a row. All those receivers could all be starters at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So that wraps up our rankings. So I'll read them back real quick from bottom to top. We had Heebs at 12, Ashley at 11, Tiff at 10, Richard at 9, Vicky at 8. Poor at 7, Lee at 6, myself and Jackie tied for the 4th and 5th, Jim at 3, Mike at 2, and Carson's at 1. We'll probably readdress this after week 6 or so and see how much things have changed since then. Because I'm sure it'll be wildly different.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows what's going to happen until the season actually starts. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and tune in for the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
As a kid, my passion was always football. I didn't realize that my passion was playing football.